Last time on RimWorld Human Revolution, we started our journey on the path of civilization development. As the first day went by, Rak and Scar were approached by a stranger named Iragua, who decided to join our group. They then were faced with a frightening discovery of the beginning of the Ice Age, which caused them to decide to start migrating towards warmer climates. Soon after, due to the overall poor conditions, all three members had to battle the food poisoning, which for our new friend Iragua, unfortunately turned out to be fatal. The two remaining wildmen were forced to stay on their journey as the environment keeps on worsening due to the Ice Age. What new adventures has the fate and destiny have prepared for them in this episode? Let's jump into the game and find out. So before we start, I actually want to thank you guys for how positively you received the first episode. I'm so happy that you guys liked it. And I actually want to talk about some of the comments from the last episode because some of you guys left some really cool ideas and tips. And first I want to talk about something that happened in the last episode, which is Iragua joining us last episode and then basically dying in 2 or 3 days, I think it was. There was a comment left by Voltage-esque, I think. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your nickname wrong. But they basically said that maybe Iragua has the forehead tattoo to mark him as a reincarnation. Because if you remember, when we checked his stats and all of the information, all of the story about him, it said that he is a reincarnated soul, which at the time I didn't think much of it. But if we're going with the storytelling and the time when the ideology isn't really a thing yet, then that might have actually been something that maybe sparks an idea of it. Like, if we think about it, he didn't just wander in as a wild man and then we had to tame him, right? Because you can get that happen. He just basically joined our group, then shared all of his knowledge, then died. And in my opinion, that 100% can be something that maybe sparked a thought in both of our main characters that maybe there is something more than just humans as in animals, just like any other animal on this planet. That maybe there is something more than nature and animals and everything that they knew so far. Because as we discussed in the first episode, back then they only believed in whatever was happening around them, as in, I don't know, a volcano erupting, tornado forming and then destroying everything in its path. We know that they believed in that is something divine. They didn't think of it as an actual god, but then later on they prayed to it, right? If they wanted more fertility, or maybe they wanted their crops to grow faster, or maybe don't die, they prayed to rain, to sun, etc. And then it turned into actual gods. So what I'm trying to say is that maybe Iragua appearing out of nowhere, leaving all of his knowledge, and then basically dying just 2 or 3 days after, wasn't just some sort of accident, that it was supposed to happen for humans to then progress. Because if we go along with that idea that he was in fact a reincarnated soul, then maybe that is what he does. He is called towards some sort of group of people, whatever, and he shares his knowledge and then dies, and all of that process basically just happens over and over, right? It 100% makes sense in my head for our story. That will be a cool idea to have once we in fact introduce a god-based ideology, then we can come back to Iragua as our maybe main god or one of the gods that we will pray to for maybe knowledge, wisdom, etc. I think that is a really cool idea. Let me know, guys, what you think. And there are also 2 things that I want to mention as well. One of them being scars. I actually changed them because I was talking to Moran Zombie 7053, and they basically said that his scars were probably too extreme for what I was trying to go for. Obviously, the idea for scars was just because I wanted his name to be Scar, and that is because he has scars all over his body from his previous battles, because he's a melee fighter, so obviously he would have some scars. But Moran Zombie mentioned that the scars that I gave him are probably way too extreme for that, because they are really damaging to the body part that they're on, and he will probably go down even fighting a mad squirrel or something like that, and he will just die. And that wasn't the idea, so I changed them with the character editor, and I just turned down the severity so that they don't actually impact the body part they own. Like, it's just a reminder that he battled something that gave him the scar, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. Like, even us, I don't know, I have many scars on my body just from various things, and it doesn't mean that I cannot use this body part that it is on. Like, it is kind of stupid, but I get why the game does that. So I just basically turned that down, so it doesn't impact the body part at all. And one last thing I want to mention is that as we speak now, as this episode is up, the collection of the mods that I use for this series is on Steam Workshop, because many of you guys asked if I will be sharing the mod collection, so there it is. It is in the description. It will be in every episode's description. So if you guys want to try your luck with this setup, then have at it. It is on the Steam Workshop. And I hope you guys succeed to create perfect humanity, perfect civilization, everything. And I guess now we can go back to our regularly scheduled programming and go back to our main characters and continue our story. So I set up their camp already. I mean, they're building it now and gathering all of the resources. But, well, I guess not. But I didn't want to just waste time just setting this all up, because it's just pointless at this point. It's the same thing over and over again. So one thing that I really like with this Ice Age, it's not the temperature, drop and dealing with the really cold temperatures, is that it actually slowly destroys all of the plants. So we kind of have to quickly gather all of the resources that we can. Otherwise, we will just have to hunt, which preferably it's obvious that you would rather just gather stuff without getting into fights. I also want to try one thing, because as we basically entered this tile, I saw that one of the geysers is under the water. So that means that maybe we can do a bathing zone. I mean, they obviously know how to bathe, right? Oh yeah, look, she's going. She's gonna bathe. Yay, nice. And it's just 40 degrees, damn. Imagine, it's basically like, well, not a sauna, but what is it called? Oh, the water is rising. That is so cool. Oh, it is like a tide, because it's morning, so the water is coming in. So the water rose, that's cool. Okay, so we can do tribal gathering. Let's just do it, because why not? We can't waste any time in this era, so maybe we will have someone join. Maybe Iragua again. Can you imagine? That would be funny. Oh my god. Wolverine. Nice. So not only we got an encouraging tribal gathering, but we also got a wild man joining our colony again. That's really nice. Okay, so they're good at mining, which will be handy in the future if they survive that. They're good with artistic stuff. Intellectual, that's really good, because they basically suck at intellectual, so that's very good. They're quite good at shooting and melee. They're not great, but all of the other things is way more beneficial at this point, as we're talking about basically progressing, advancing to the Neolithic era. We will need those things, so that's really good. Let's just check the bio. Okay, gifted burnout. What does that mean? Okay, so he is basically smart, but because of the expectation and the constant pressure, he has a long list of mental disorders, and therefore that's why he has too smart. I like that it kind of links. I don't know if it's intentional. They kind of work together, and I like that. That's really cool that he's basically too smart. Maybe like sometimes people say that someone was born way before his time, like especially with the artists, when someone is trying new things and that song this artist blows up years or decades after the initial release of the song or whatever he was doing, and then people say that they were born before their times. So maybe it is something like that. That's kind of cool. And when it comes to the adulthood, he is a cave builder, which, I mean, that also makes sense, right? For wild men, they were all hanging out in the caves. Okay, he also doesn't have any conditions, even though it's said that he has some mental issues. So I wonder if it will actually come into play, like if it is an actual thing that maybe as he ages or his mood becomes really bad, he then will start developing some sort of mental disorders. Although I don't know if it is a thing in this game. Like obviously physical problems do show up, and you get some sort of problems when it comes to your body, but mostly like physically. I don't know if mental disorders work other than addictions, because I know that that is a thing. Okay, so because we are actually able to do another tribal gathering, I will start it for them to just maybe get another person. That will be amazing. We'll just stand close to the campfire for a second to just heat up and get rid of hypothermia if we have. We probably do, yeah. So to get rid of it, and then we will go to another tile. Okay, so we got another encouraging tribal gathering. That is amazing. So additional mood boost, so that is amazing. I actually want you all to stand next to the campfire. Did you get frostbite? Of course you did, because why not? Okay, so now that they don't have the hypothermia, I'm going to make them leave this tile and move to another. I'm kind of worried about the wetness, but hopefully they will manage to get to where they're supposed to get to. Okay, so we are on the second tile for this episode, which is quite an interesting tile, I would say. We can 100% see that we are slowly but surely coming closer to some drier but warmer climates and regions, because there's ostriches, so that basically means that it's getting warmer and warmer, right? We also kind of won a lottery because there is a lot of berry bushes. As you can see, I think it's because the next tile is tall, what is it? Tall grass prairie. So I guess there's a lot of food there, maybe. That's why we have it all here. We have to be careful about one thing, which is a hornet nest, because these can 100% mess us up. But other than that, I would say that this is 100% a win when it comes to a good tile. We don't have any enemies like the bear or the snake from the last episode. There are none of these kind of animals here. These are all neutral unless we basically initiate the attack, or they go mad or something like that, or they just become hungry and decide to eat us. Okay, so the time has come for our daily tribal gathering. As you can see, this episode is quite different. We don't do that much when it comes to the activities. We are mostly focused on getting towards our goal, because I would like for this episode to be basically the end of Paleolithic era, or at least as close to the end as we can get. Oh my god. Like, what is going on in this episode? I'm not complaining, I love it. But we already got 2 people this episode. And they look so cool. They have 4 eyebrows. That's amazing. And they're really young. But what I want to know is who you are, basically. Eldest caretaker. Okay, so he's basically good with anything going around the house, I guess, because he was stuck basically taking care of his other siblings, although I don't know where they are. He is really bad when it comes to the stats, but we can work with that. He has some really good passion for shooting, which will be really good, and also good passion for social stuff. The crafting and melee is fine, and in mining he will basically eventually forget it, but he only has 1 level, so it's completely fine. What is actually cool is that he's super immune. which will be really good for this era, and basically the beginning, it will be really good. He probably won't get food poisoning like everyone basically in the last episode. So far no one has gotten it this episode, which is kind of annoying. Okay, he's also a colonist. Okay, so we don't know. Basically, we don't know. Will that change over time? I don't know, because I know that for childhood you can get a child, basically, which is, this is a child in your colony. His story is being written the same as it is for this guy when it comes to his adulthood. But do they actually change because his story is actually being written? Like, if something happens, will it change? I don't know that much about progression when it comes to RimWorld. I've never had these people exist long enough to find out, basically. So if you guys know if that actually changes over time, that would be cool. If we can actually impact what his adulthood trait, story, whatever, will actually become, that's kind of cool. Okay guys, so we got a notification that winter has begun, which I think is going to make the ice age even more harsh. I'm not sure. We are already quite far away from where we started. Where did we start? Like here? Somewhere here, right? So we're closer than further, I would say, maybe, or like halfway there. So hopefully now as the winter begins, it's not gonna have that much of an impact when it comes to the progression of Ice Age, how harsh it is, etc. So hopefully it won't mess us up. Okay, so we actually have new lovers. I just wanted them to, do some errands, hunt some small animals, like a hare, and I think Scar hunted a raccoon, because we need a lot of hide or fur, whatever. Because we have 2 new people that need tribal wear, and we need 60 of, I think, any type of what is it? Excuse me, game. Not here, but here. Tribal wear is 60 of fabric or leather, so that's quite a lot. And yeah, as they were just basically going around their business, doing stuff, Scar would rock by telling a story about clubs. But they're lovers now. That's really good. We can give them double bed, I guess. On the, I mean, if you can call that double bed, you can just sleep together on the ground next to each other. That's fine. Wait, that's Wolverine, that's Rock, and that is Scar. So we can get rid of those and do a double bed right here, because I kind of want to have a pregnancy at this point. I think we are close enough to our goal, which is basically somewhere in this area. We are quite close, and now we are going to basically enter a much more warmer climate. So I think the Ice Age will now stop being a problem that much, at least I hope. Okay, so this ostrich has been really close to our camp for a while now, and I think that basically means that it wants to be dead, right? Like, I'm sorry, but no animal will come close to humans just on their own. So I'm gonna use that to my advantage. Please, I'm kind of worried about the damage it's gonna do to us, but... Okay, that's nice. Of course it's going to attack anyone, like, that's obvious. I think Wolverine got hit, and yeah, it's quite bad. It could be way worse. I think everyone else is fine, right? Yeah, so it's only Wolverine. I would like for Nossen, I guess, to be hit because he is super immune, right? Yes. I'm a bit confused why they're going here to wash themselves. Like, they have this body of water next to them, also this one, but they choose to go to the furthest one. I'm not sure why, but sure, go off, I guess. Okay, so we can do another tribal gathering, why not? And maybe after that we can move to our new tile. Okay, amazing. Encouraging tribal gathering. We didn't get anyone joining us, but that's fine. We already got 2 new people this episode, so that's amazing. Really good outcome. So I'm really happy about that. I'm not complaining that we didn't get anyone, although I would love that, but well, it's fine. Okay, so I want them to move again because we've been here for a day, about a day, I don't know. I think we've been on the other tile for more than a day, so it's fine. We can kind of like even it out, I guess. So this will be 2 tiles, this will be 2 tiles, and it's -3 here. Okay, but if we go from here to here and then here, then we have 5 degrees here. So I might be actually more happy with going here now, because then we get to go here. Yeah, I guess it's almost like a straight line. And it's way more beneficial than, because if we go here, then we cannot go here because it's 3 tiles. And this one is only 0. So it's a 5 degrees difference. So I'm obviously going to pick this one. So we are going to this. Okay, so we made our way to another tile. As you can see, we set up a simple camp, as always, and I wanted to talk with you guys about Scar. And it is because, as we mentioned in the beginning of this episode, the scars that he had were too intense for him, and he will probably die really fast due to, well, basically my lack of knowledge, because I didn't know how extreme they were. But as I showed you guys earlier, he had these scars. They were basically kind of cosmetic because that's what I wanted them to be. But as we moved to another tile, they basically disappeared because they were no longer, I guess, important to the game, because they didn't impact it in any shape or form. So I think because of what we discussed, the initial idea wasn't to damage him in a way that these scars would basically make him weaker, because that's not what I was going for. I was going for just a visual aspect of scars, right? Like, he's our fighter and he's known for his bravery, blah blah blah, what we discussed in the first episode, right? So the scars were kind of a visual representation of that, and they were never supposed to damage him in a way that he was weaker or wasn't able to perform to his like best abilities, right? So hopefully we can all agree that the tattoo that he has, because that was the first idea that I had, that is the idea of a scar, that the tattoo isn't a tattoo, that is the scar. Hopefully you guys won't be mad at me that we don't have those anymore, but unfortunately if I do end up giving him actual scars that damage him, he will be way less capable of surviving, and I guess we don't want that, because that wasn't the intention, right? By the way, like, the receding hairline on Moths is amazing. Like, I won't change that even if we get to have the styling station. His hairline is staying that way. I'm not changing that. Because bold life matters. I'm not bald, but I love bold people. Okay, so I think it's time for another tribal gathering. Let's see. Oh. Okay, so that's like a kind of like a bittersweet outcome, because it was uninspiring, so we get a negative mood boost or debuff, whatever. But we discovered mining. That's amazing, because Wolverine is really good at mining. Okay, so let's just do another tribal gathering. I mean, at this point, that's basically this whole episode. But as you can see, Wolverine made himself the tribal wear, even though it's an awful quality, but it's better than nothing. Okay, another uninspiring tribal gathering, but we have agriculture. That is the most important thing for Neolithic era. Without it, we cannot progress. So we already have what we need to progress to another era, and we will soon get animal handling, so that's amazing. So we basically got 2 really important researches this episode, which is mining and agriculture, but we still need animal handling to basically even think of going into a Neolithic era, right? Because without being able to domesticate animals, there's no farming. Like, that's the whole idea of Neolithic era. But we are really close, right? I keep forgetting. Yeah, we are really close, so maybe even this episode or maybe the next one we will get it 100%. So we are really close to basically reaching that milestone when it comes to the development, the research, the knowledge. we are almost there. And we are almost there when it comes to the placement on the map, the location. And speaking of location, I guess we can start moving again. And we will go... Can you remember? It was 5 degrees. Now it's 0. That is so interesting how it still progresses. But I guess it's winter, right? Like, if we survive the winter, I guess then we can say that we survived the Ice Age. So I guess the Ice Age can keep happening up until the end of the winter, and then we probably, by the time, we will be where we were supposed to be, and then we can say that we survived the Ice Age. We also made it when it comes to the technology, the research, the knowledge, just overall advancement, I guess, of our species. Okay, so as you can see, we are on the next tile, and something that is kind of worrying me that I didn't think about is that towards the desert, grassland, etc., on one hand there should be more animals, but usually that also means that, well, temperate regions have way less of aggressive animals, right? Like, just in general. And if we go towards more tropical area, desert-like or grassland-like regions, the aggression level goes way higher. And something that I just realized is that thankfully we took some meat with us from our previous tile, but if we end up not having enough, I mean, we have some otters which probably aren't as bad as probably rhinos, right? There are also, I saw a lion, there we go, a lion and a lioness somewhere. There it is, there she is. Female lioness, I think that's what they call them. But there's also elephants, which, no, we won't even get close to that. So yeah, thankfully we have some meat for now. We also have some berry bushes and some other food sources. Okay, let's just do another tribal gathering. It's not gonna be probably fine. Hopefully we will get the animal... What is it? What was it? Animal handling thing discovered. Although no, it's 15 points. No, it's not gonna happen, I think. And what I think is gonna happen is that we will move once more in this episode, which means that we will get to the desert tile and we will finish there. The next episode, I'm hoping we get to actually advance to Neolithic era, because when it comes to the advancement and technology, research, everything, we are actually almost there. We only lack the animal handling ability, which we are almost there. And when it comes to the location, we are what, like 1, 2, 3. I mean, that is probably over here is already fine, but I'm hoping to get somewhere around here. So we are basically 1, 2, 3, and 4 maybe tiles away. But yeah, this overall area is where I want to end up to advance into Neolithic era. It doesn't mean that we will settle permanently here. It means that once we advance into Neolithic era, we have ability to permanently settle. It doesn't mean that we will stay here for the rest of the series. I'm kind of hoping that once the planet warms up, it will just change the biomes. I'm kind of worried because I don't know if I mentioned it, but I tried to do this exact thing, this whole Ice Age migration thing in my private playthrough, just to see if it works and how it works. But the problem is that this temperate forest used to be a tropical forest before Ice Age hit, right? So it changed into temperate forest because of the Ice Age. And now, as for example Ice Age is over and the planet warms up, it will go back to the tropical rainforest. But that means that everywhere on this planet where now is a temperate forest will be a rainforest. And sometimes this game changes, like if there were some grasslands or something like that, it also changes into a temperate forest. So eventually what happens is that most biomes that used to be one biome end up being another biome after the ice age is over. So it kind of changes the whole climate, which makes sense, right? Like it would happen, obviously, but it's kind of annoying, and that's why I just don't want to settle here just because now we are in a Neolithic era, so we can settle, so we are settling here and there's no way to change that. So yeah, let's just go back to the tribal gathering. Let's see what is the outcome of that, because I'm expecting it to be bad, just looking at how it's been going. Okay, encouraging, that's amazing. Okay, we can do another tribal gathering. I know that nothing has been happening lately, especially in this episode. I mean, we got 2 new people, so that's a lot of stuff happening, right? Like that's huge. But other than that, not much. But as I said, we are mostly focused in this episode on progressing towards the new tile, towards the warm climate, towards equatorial regions. So that's what is the most important. Oh my god, a 3rd person in one episode. Okay, so encouraging. Let's see, first of all, let's see the research. Okay, we need just 2 more points, so 100% we're getting animal handling the next episode, which is huge. But let's see the new member of the group, which is Baiko. And that is a female wild man. So we have 2 women and 3 men. Going from 1 man and from 1 woman to 3 men and 2 women is amazing. And oh my god, her stats. She's really good with melee. I think better than Scar. She's our best warrior now. Shooting, she's as good as Rock is. Holy shit. Let's just see what is her story, basically. So, childhood. Tribe child. Okay, she never learned to read and never saw a machine that wasn't an ancient ruin. I mean, any other person here on this map, in this save also. So, like, it's fine, honey. You're good. Okay, so she also has Brave, just as Scar. So she's good. That's why she's good with basically fighting. She has 3 traits. Oh my god. Annoying voice. So people will not like her. Okay, these don't matter really. And these are more like political, which will come into play later, but now it doesn't really matter. Okay, and big boned. What is the point of this trait? If you guys know, you can let me know, because I don't really understand how that works. Oh my god, the lions are fighting. And Baiko is just like, don't mind me, I'm just passing through. Oh my god. Damn. Vicious. Right. I forgot that we have to move really quickly. Okay, food poisoning is still initial. So we are going to move now. Okay, so as you can see, we made it to our final tile of this episode. It is supposedly a desert, although I guess it's a mix because we are surrounded by other biomes, which is arid shrubland, so kind of looks like it. And I was kind of worried when it comes to the food sources because it's a desert, but thankfully it's not just sand. And on top of that, we actually have some animals here. As you can see, the blue bits are blue silhouettes, I guess, are where the animals are. I'm most excited for gazelles because if we end up actually eating all of our meat, which probably is gonna happen soon because that's everything that we have left, basically, we can hunt gazelles. And there are also some plants just scattered around, so I don't think we will have that much of a problem when it comes to the food. It's not that the ice age is not gonna affect this area that much, I think, although we are in the winter, so that's probably gonna have some effect on that. I think that's gonna be it for this episode. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully it was at least half as exciting as the first episode because it was a new thing and someone puked. I guess it's Nelson because he still has the food poisoning. Okay, it's almost major. I'm going to actually make him stand next to the campfire because if he basically falls down because of the food poisoning, he's at least next to the campfire. So just stay there, buddy, and we will take care of him in the next episode. But yeah, if you guys like the episode, let me know. We managed to get 3 new people, which is amazing when it comes to advancing into Neolithic era, because we need as many people as we can. And when it comes to our newest addition, which is Baiko, I guess, they are extremely important because, as you can see, they have a level 12, which is expert level in animals when it comes to handling animals, taming, training, etc. So in the next episode, as we get the animal handling ability, they will be basically the most important person in our whole group. Like, they will become insanely important because we will have to domesticate animals to survive just by farming, etc. That's the whole point of Neolithic era. But yeah, we are going to explore that in the next episode. And I want to thank you for watching this episode. And as I said earlier, the collection of the mods for the series is on the Steam Workshop, which the link for is in the description. So if you guys want to play along and maybe do your own playthrough, that would be amazing. If you guys let me know what happened in your world, that would be cool. Maybe we can do kind of like a rivalry, as I said in the first episode. Maybe we can think of it as a metaverse thing where each of our own worlds is a separate universe. So the one that we live in is one, and literally every single playthrough of this game idea, this playthrough idea, is another universe. So we can kind of like share what happened in our universes, where we got to what happened. Maybe something big happened and killed everyone. That would be amazing when it comes to the storytelling. But that would be cool if you guys would like to try it yourself. And as I said, the link is in the description if you actually want to. And yes, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.